I post these on YouTube if you ever want to watch them. Okay, anyways. Let's see. I'm gonna mute you guys. You guys are all muted, thank you. But I'm just gonna put the little mute mode on in case somebody joins us and they're not muted. Okay, cool. Let's do this. Rich, hey, welcome. Okay, just nice and easy, nothing too crazy as usual. Roll out your mat if you haven't. And let's start lying down on our backs. Okay, so lie down on your back. And as you lie down, just take a moment to kind of stretch to feel around. So maybe you take your arms overhead, legs forward. Make it feel really nice to just kind of windshield wiper your knees for a moment. Or maybe draw your knees in towards your belly and gently rock from side to side. Give your low back a little massage. And then just go ahead and come to a resting pose of your choice. So anything that feels just nice to rest in this position. So for me, I really like this position of feet on the ground with my knees bent, and then my feet are wider than my hips, so my knees kind of fall in. Some people, maybe you want to bring your feet together, let your knees open. Maybe you want your legs extended. Maybe there's something else completely different. So whatever feels good to you, and same with your arms. So eventually just find stillness, close your eyes. And let's take a moment to connect with our breath. So just start to feel the rise and fall of each inhale and exhale. Maybe you start to hear a sound with your breath. Maybe you feel the air as it moves past the top of your lip or above your top lip. And then let's very intentionally, next time we inhale, let's fill up as big as we can and hold. And then when you think you're full, see if there's an extra little sip you can take at the very, very top. When you're ready, open mouth, sigh, let it go. Again, like that. So inhale, fill up. Breathe way bigger than you thought you could. Hold, sip in a little extra. Open your mouth and let it go. Maybe even make noise. Especially if you're by yourself. Do that. Make some noise. Just feel how it feels, just for fun. Inhale, fill up. Hold, hold, hold. Sip in more, sip in more. A little bit of noise as you exhale. I know it feels weird, but just try it. That's all. That's what yoga is all about, is feeling weird. This is my dog, Ruby. She's the best. All right. From here, friends, let's start to cultivate our ujjayi breath. So that's in and out through our nose by way of the back of our throat. So see if you can start to feel and hear your breath as it flows in and out. The inhale is like you're taking a really deep, 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 slow motion gas. The exhale is like you're fogging up a window, but your lips are sealed over the breath. If you can't get it today, no big deal, but breathe intentionally, breathe big, slow, spacious. Keep this breath moving and flowing. And everybody draw your knees towards your belly. You can grab your kneecaps, you can grab the front of your shins or the backs of your thighs, and just gently rock from side to side. If you're holding your knees, maybe you take little circles with your knees, or you can even take your knees in different directions. So maybe you try drawing little hearts with your knees, or just kind of throwing them into a mixing bowl. And then eventually we're going to move into a supine spinal twist. So you can just let your knees fall to the right, nice and easy. If you would like, left knee on top of right knee. So like somebody would sit in a chair wearing a really short skirt, and then let your knees fall to the right. You'll just intensify it a little bit. If you need to scoot around on your hips so that it feels like you can breathe bigger and deeper, then scoot your hips around. Try to let your shoulders be nice and open, square towards the sky, towards the ceiling. Left arm reaches out to the left, or cactus with your left arm. I might have already said that. And then just settle here, breath by breath. And allow whatever you feel to just be felt. So not trying to avoid feeling uncomfortable for a moment, but noticing the discomfort and realizing, okay, it's just temporary. Taking big, deep breaths and allowing yourself to just accept the discomfort and feel it for a moment. Breathe bigger than you thought you could. Soften with your exhales. And then end of your next exhalation. So take it all the way to empty. And then let's bring it back to center. So set your feet on the ground with your knees bent and extend your left leg straight up towards the sky. See if you can flex your toes back towards your shin and press up through your heel. Your right foot is on the ground with your knee bent. Neutral spine, let your left heel lead, and as slow as you can, lower your left leg down. Keep it long, strong, and powerful. Keep your toes flexed back. Keep your spine neutral. Once your left leg is on the ground, keep your left toes active, and then draw your right knee up towards your right armpit, hands around the front of your right shin. If that's too much, hands around the back of your right thigh. Hug your right knee up towards your right armpit. Give it a great big squeeze. Imagine there's a heavy sandbag on top of your left thigh. Take a great big Buddha belly breath. End of your exhale, half happy baby with your right leg. So sole of your right foot faces the sky. Grab the outer edge of your foot if you can. If that's too much, inner edge, ankle, shin, or back of thigh. Pull down with your right arm as you press up through your right heel. Continue to feel that invisible sandbag on top of your left thigh. Neutral spine, so root through the backs of both shoulders and hips. Take one more deep breath, pull down with your right arm, press up through your right heel. End of your exhale, full body stretch, release your right leg, both arms long, both legs long. So as you reach, notice if your ribs lift a lot. For some people they will, for some they won't. If they do, see if you can press down through your back ribs, even just the tiniest bit. Feel your pelvis neutralize and your lowest, deepest abdominals engage just a little bit more. It's just the most subtle engagement. Take one more big inhale to reach, but see if you can keep pressing your back ribs down. Exhale, draw both knees in and gently rock it out. Stay here as long as you want to, just rocking it out or exploring. Eventually, we'll take a supine spinal twist. Knees fall over to the left. Option to cross right knee on top of left if you want. If that bothers your low back or for any other reason you just don't want to cross your legs, not a big deal. Just uncross them. So shoulders open. Try to let the back of your right shoulder stay rooted if possible. If it lifts a little, that's okay. Gaze up or to your right, and then big deep breath. So in a twist, it's definitely a little harder to send your breath down to your belly. So a little extra effort behind the breath is okay. Exhale all the way to empty every time. Last couple rounds, big, huge breaths. Exhale out your mouth if it feels good. And then let's come back to center. Uncross your legs if they happen to be crossed. I'm like, oh, my legs are heavy. All right, and extend your right leg straight up. You can bring your hands behind your thigh if you want to, but you don't need to. You can just use the strength of your leg to extend up. Press up through your heel, flex back through your toes. Left foot on the ground with your knee bent, neutral spine position. Keep that neutral spine, lead with your right heel. Slowly lower your right leg all the way down. Slow, 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 slow. Neutral spine the entire way. Once your right leg is on the ground, keep your toes active. Draw your left knee up towards your left armpit, hands around the front of your shin. Give it a big squeeze here. Big, huge belly breath. And then half happy baby. Sole of your left foot faces up, flex your toes back. Keep your neutral spine and imagine a heavy sandbag on top of your right thigh. Breathe, send your breath down into your pelvis, into your groin. Good job. End of your next exhale. Release your left foot and then full body stretch again. Both arms long, both legs long. Press your back ribs down, even just the tiniest bit if they lift up. One more big inhale, reach, reach, reach. Exhale, draw your knees in, gently rock it out. Okay, listen, from here, you have a few options. So you can either just roll onto your side, fetal position, use your arms to guide yourself up to a seat. I'm gonna rock and roll. So if you want to, come with me. I like to grab the backs of my thighs, start to rock and roll forward and back. Take a few of these. So make this a therapeutic movement. Really curl in and massage those muscles along your spine. Engage through your core. Take about 6 or 7 rocks and then eventually just rock up to a seat. So we'll all meet in a comfortable seated position. If you need to grab anything to make it more comfortable, like sitting up on top of a pillow or a blanket or a couple of pillows, anything like that, please do. If you have a block at home, maybe you want to sit on a block. So comfortable seated position, sit up tall and relax your arms down by your sides. All right, with your arms relaxed, feel your shoulders melt down away from your ears just a little bit more. Feel your neck, the back of your neck especially, grow a little bit longer as you draw up through the crown of your head. Keep your shoulders really relaxed, your spine really long. Let your right ear fall toward your right shoulder. And then breathe here. This is a perfect place to stay. If you want, you can reach your left hand out to the left with your fingers facing, reaching towards the ground. That'll intensify it just a bit. You could also bring your left forearm across your low back. And then last option, only if you want, bring your right hand up and place your hand on the left side of your head above your ear. Gently press your hand down into your head, but at the same time, press your head up into your hand. So you can stop anywhere along those, and they're just invitations. So whatever works best for you, go there. Keep your shoulders relaxed, spine long, face soft. Notice what tightens up here and breathe into those spaces specifically. You might tilt your chin just ever so slightly forward or ever so slightly up. Not lift your head up, but just tilt your chin up. Take about 3 more really big intentional breaths. Invitation to take a big inhale and hold for your last round. Sip in more if you can. Open your mouth, let it go. Wherever you've got your arms, let them come back down to your sides. Keep your head where it's at. Let your chin now roll forward, so chin to your chest, but don't round your spine. Keep your spine long, just let your head fall down, chin to chest. So if this feels like enough, stay right here. Try to relax. If you want a little bit more, bring your hands to the back of your head and interlace your fingers. Don't squeeze your head and don't widen your elbows, but find a happy medium and ever so gently press your hands down into the back of your head at the same time. head up into your hands. So feel that stretch in the back of your neck. It should be gentle, not forceful. Breathe. Okay, end of your next exhale. Leave your head as it is, but let your arms fall down by your sides if they're not there already. Roll your left ear now over to your left shoulder. So just coming to the other side. Left ear, left shoulder, or if you did the opposite, just make sure you get both sides. That's the only thing that really matters. I always get confused when I teach on Zoom because I can't remember if it mirrors me or if I have to mirror myself like I would for a live class. I say everything opposite. There's one of the programs that mirrors it for you, so I never remember. So if I'm saying everything opposite, just make sure you get both sides. Okay, and you know the options. So your right arm might wrap behind you, might reach out to the right. Your left hand might land gently on the side of your head and apply just that most gentle pressure, hand into head, head back into hand. Make sure your shoulders are relaxed. So definitely try not to shrug your shoulder up towards your ear, but let your ear fall towards your shoulder. Soften your face, unclench your jaw. Soften your forehead, your eyebrows, your eyelids, your cheeks. Ha. Sometimes I like to open my mouth and ha. There's a teacher called Anna Forrest. She calls that jaw glide, lip slide. You open your mouth and slide your jaw. Ha. Back and forth. Yeah, yoga is weird, you guys. All right. So let your head stay where it's at. Take one more round. End of your exhale, arms come down by your side. So wherever you've got your arms, just let them fall down. And then again, chin to your chest, chin to your chest. Bring your thumbs underneath your chin and just ever so slowly lift your head up. See if you can not resist. It's hard not to resist. And then see if you can like really mindfully place your head perfectly aligned on top of your spine, and then relax your arms down. So what if every time you placed your head, you aligned it just perfectly? So many times we reach our head forward or we tilt our head back and it really hurts our neck. Start to have a little more awareness of how you're holding your head. It's heavy. All right, and then keeping your head in this nice alignment, right over your spine, you're just gonna turn from side to side. So like you're gazing over one shoulder and then over the other. So as you turn, your head doesn't come forward and your shoulders don't round. Everything stays the same. You're just moving your head. Slowly and intentionally. And if your eyes are open, maybe you do some yoga with your eyeballs, you gaze back. Not forcefully, gently, soft gaze. Back and forth like this is a moving meditation. So inhale, center, exhale to the side. Couple more. This is like a moving meditation that they would do in some sort of, well, I shouldn't say anything like that, but what I'll say is imagine this was all you did for an hour straight with gaze one way then the other. Just noticed everything, made it so interesting. You could do it for an hour straight. Crazy, right? All right, come back to center and open your eyes if they're not. Good job. You guys come forward to hands and knees, tabletop position. And then take a moment in your tabletop. You can start with cat cows if you want, or maybe you move through some hip circles. Maybe you want to sit back into a child's pose. Maybe you want to explore more through your neck here. So sometimes I like to just hang out on my hands and knees and let my head be heavy, kind of shake yes, no, maybe so. So a million ways to explore from your hands and your knees. Take about 3 to 5 more breaths. Eventually, let's meet back in our downward facing dog. So lift your hips back and up. And really push the ground away with your hands. If it feels good, pedal out your heels or anything that calls to you. Maybe you want to stretch one leg to the sky and then the other. Take about 2 or 3 more rounds of breath in your down dog. And then we'll come back down to our hands and our knees, just nice and easy. We'll take thread the needle. So bring your knees out a little bit wider than your hips. Option to take your left leg and extend it out to the left with your toes facing directly forward. And this is just an option. You do not have to take it. Take your right arm out to the right and then all the way up to the sky. Open up. Inhale here. As you exhale, thread your right arm underneath. So reach through and come down to rest on the outside of your shoulder, outside of your head. Your left hand can stay on the ground. You can press down into your left hand or your left fingertips. You might wrap your left arm behind you. So your exploration of this pose, and give yourself about 3 to 5 more breaths. See if you can feel your breath in your back body. Feel your exhales and take them all the way to empty every time. Soft face, soft jaw, soft tongue. So let your tongue soften. If you're pressing it up against the roof of your mouth or the backs of your teeth, let it relax. Take one last round. If your left hand happens to be lifted, bring it back down. Next time you inhale, take your right arm out from under you, reach it all the way up. One more time. If you want, you can hold here for an extra breath. Right hand eventually will come back to the ground. Pick up your left leg and swing it back. So if your left knee's on the ground, just pick up your left knee and reach it back. So everyone, left toes off the right side of your mat, set them down. Now start from your hips, pull your hips to the left as you gaze back over your right shoulder. So lengthen your left side, maybe round a little or arch a little or rock forward or back. Big, huge breath. And back to center tabletop. Let's take it back to downward facing dog. And for a moment, just pedal out your heels. But from down dog, we'll meet at the back of our mat in a forward fold. So if you want to go right back to your forward fold, if you want to take a moment in your down dog or even move through a vinyasa, feel free. But we'll meet back in a forward fold. Back of your mat, feet about hips width distance apart or even a little bit wider. All of your toes should face directly forward. And try not to rock back into your heels, but instead, most of your weight in your toes and the balls of your feet. Lift your butt up. Lift your belly button up. Relax your neck. If you want ragdoll, grab opposite elbows or hands behind your head, interlace your fingers, give the back of your neck some traction. Bob or sway or bounce it out if you want to. Maybe even horse lips. So you have to relax all the muscles in your face to make this noise. So buzz your lips like a horse and see if you can relax. Ha. All right, friends. Inhale, halfway lift position. So spine nice and long, parallel to the ground. Stick your butt out, reach the top of your head forward. Exhale, fold, let it go. This time, inhale to a halfway lift. And we're going to crawl our hands forward until we're in a plank or a modified plank. So slowly, hands come forward, top of a push-up. Spread your fingers and push the ground away. Take a great big inhale. Exhale to slowly lower. Let's take 3 cobras, flowing cobras. So inhale, lift your heart. You can stay low or lift a little higher. Keep your shoulders down away from your ears. Exhale, roll it down. Again, inhale, roll it up. Cobra, your variation. Exhale, release. One more like that. Keep your shoulders down away from your ears. Tips of your elbows point back, not out. Exhale, let it go. Press up to your tabletop position, your hands and your knees. All right, we're going to move into thread the needle. Other side, so option to take your right leg and extend it out. That's called gating your right leg. Toes face forward. Heel comes straight out from your hip. Left arm out to the left and then all the way up. Breathe in here. As you exhale, thread it through. So reach, and then rest on the outside of your shoulder and very gently on the outside of your head. Breathe intentionally. Big and spacious back body breaths. So if I were there with you and I put my hands on your back, I want to be able to feel, are you inhaling or are you exhaling? Are you expanding or are you contracting? Soft through your face, your jaw. Let's be here for about 3 more. And then if you do happen to have your right hand lifted, set it back down. Next time you inhale, unthread your left arm. Ooh, reach it up, open up if this feels good. Maybe you hold a little bit longer. When you're ready, left hand to the ground. And then take your right foot. So pick up your right knee if it's on the ground, right leg back, and then right toes off the left side of your mat. Pull your hips to the right first. So you start this from your lower body. Hips pull right as you gaze left and then gaze back over your shoulder. Round, bend, arch, rock, roll. I'm looking underneath my arms right now, like peekabooing through my arms. So lots of ways to feel around. Take one more breath. And come back to tabletop. Take it back to downward facing dog. Couple breaths to walk it out in your down dog. And then just like we did before, forward fold, back of your yoga mat. So slowly crawl your hands back. Bring all the weight into your feet. Just take a moment to be in your fold, to relax your neck, let your head be very heavy. That's probably my mom coming over. Inhale, the door just, my mom's probably knocking. Hang on, look. Hang out in your forward fold while I address my mother. 1 second. Oh, never mind. It's my mother-in-law, so my husband will handle it. All right, halfway lift, inhale. So spine nice and long, lengthen. Exhale, fold. And then this time, we're gonna rise up. So come through your halfway lift, take it all the way up, arms reach up. Hands to heart, exhale. All right, inhale, take your arms to the sky. Exhale, hands behind your back, interlace your fingers, Roll your shoulders back and down. Squeeze your shoulder blades towards your spine. So make sure your shoulders aren't rolling forward like this. They're rolling back. Try not to lock out your elbows. So if that just happens, bend your elbows and try to squeeze your elbows towards one another. See if you can start to reach your hands back. And then if you want even more, lift your heart, lift your gaze, hug in with your inner thighs as you press your hips gently forward. Soften your face. Don't let your head collapse back, but extend back. Lift your chin, lift your sternum. One more inhale. Keep your hands clasped. Exhale, dive down, forward fold. Halfway lift, breathe in. Keep your hands clasped. So see if you can lengthen. Squeeze your back muscles around your spine. Exhale, keep your clasp and fold. Take one more inhale. Lift your knuckles up. Relax your neck. Exhale, hands to your low back. Now release your clasp. Let your arms hang down. Woo, give them a little shake down, shake your head. All right, friends. As you're ready, we're coming into a plank or modified plank. So top of a push-up. Walk forward with your hands like you're an animal, not a human, four-legged creature. So you've got awareness in all four of your limbs. Once you're in your plank or your modified plank, spread your fingers and really push the ground away. Big, huge inhale. Exhale, slowly lower. Strong arms, strong belly. We'll take those rolling cobras again. So as you inhale, roll it up. Peel your heart open, shoulders back and down. Little tone through your lowest, deepest abdominals. Exhale, slowly roll it back down. Inhale, lift. Open. Stay rooted through thumbs and index. Fingers spread wide. Exhale, release. And do that just one more time. Only lift as high as feels right. So you can stay really low. That feels good to you. Inhale, lift. And exhale to let it go. This time, press up and back just to a child's pose. So come into a resting position. I like my knees wide. You might like your knees together or somewhere in between. And then you can reach your arms forward, or if you want to let your arms come back, grab hold of your heels if that's available, embryo pose. If you want to sit up into a kneeling position, hero's pose. So take just a moment, reconnect to your breath. Reconnect to anything you feel inside your body. And I actually I just noticed that it's all guys here today. I love that because I can kind of cater this a little bit more to a man's body. A lot of times you guys have just a little more tightness in your hips, not always. Pigeon pose probably isn't the most pleasant for most of you. Maybe it is. I shouldn't judge. Stereotype. But I think our bodies are just built in different ways. A lot of times, some things are just naturally a little tighter in men than women. So next time you inhale, rise up to your hands and your knees. And this is kind of what I'm talking about. Let's work with pigeon, but a different variation of it. So rather than a regular pigeon, I just want you to bring your right knee up to the back of your right wrist, and then kind of sit your hips over to the right. So your butt comes down. Now adjust so that your right shin, so you can do whatever you need to, scoot around as much as you need to. Get your right shin parallel to the right edge of your mat. So maybe you have to lean over to the right, but right shin parallel to the front edge of your mat. Boom, boom. Yes? And then this back leg, it can be kind of with the long edge of your mat. It can be kind of back here. If it feels better up here, that's okay. But see if you can at least get your knee straight out from your hip if possible. If not, that's okay. Flex your toes and sit up as tall as you can. Turn just a little bit to the left. So it's like your sternum, your heart is aiming at your foot. Take a big inhale. And then as you exhale, imagine you're trying to reach your right butt cheek back and your heart towards your right big toe. Maybe it's just a little tilt forward and that's as far as you go, that's fine. Wherever you're at, just be there, hang out there for a few breaths. You're not forcing this. This is still a really deep hip opener. It's just working with our hips in a different way than in our regular pigeon. Take about 5 more breaths. So rather than tensing up, see if you can relax more with each breath. Open mouth exhales at any time. All right, and then end of your next exhale. So take one last huge breath. End of your exhale, lift your upper body. Now, this is a little bit funky. So you can lean over onto your right hand if you need to. Your back leg here, see if you can lift it up and just swing it around. So you can just bring it out in front of you like that. And then do that a few times, letting it just hover above the ground. If you need to lean a lot to the right, that's okay. But get as tall as you can through your spine. So I'm leaning over to the right, but stay tall through your spine and try not to put too much weight in your right hand. So just swinging it forward and back. This is working your mobility, your left hip. If you're like, this is the worst thing I've ever done, awesome. That means that probably your body really needs it. Next time your left leg comes forward, you can keep it there and then take your right leg out in front of you as well. Give your legs a little shake out. With windshield wipers. So feet apart, hips, or excuse me, mat width distance apart, wider than your hips, hands behind you, roll your shoulders back and down, lift your heart up. Inhale here, and then exhale, knees fall to the right. Turn your gaze and your shoulders to the left. Back to center, breathe in, and then other side with your exhale. Couple more times side to side. So just slowly and intentionally with your breath. Okay, now back to center. Take your right leg out in front of you. And then hug your left knee in. Sit up tall. This might be where you stay, and that's okay. Otherwise, left foot to the outside of your right thigh. Hug your knee in. Sit up tall. Both variations, inhale your left arm up. And exhale, twist. Left hand comes down behind you. So twist to your left. Your right hand can be used as leverage against your left knee. If it's available to you, your right elbow can latch to the outside of your left knee. Try not to lean back, but get as tall as you can through your spine, as broad as you can through your shoulders. Flex your right toes back. Breathe down into your belly. Good job, you guys. Take 2 more breaths. Twists are not easy for most men either. If you have a really strong core, they're not easy. All right. And then end of your exhale, unwind your upper body. Bring the sole of your left foot just kind of to your right inner thigh. It doesn't have to be exact. Left hand stays behind you, fingers face away. You're going to press into your left hand, your right heel or the inner edge of your right foot, and then lift your hips, reach up, reach back. So go for length, go for space, go for opening in your front body. Take one more, or maybe opening in your right side, lengthen your right side. One more big breath. End of your exhale, come back down to a seat. And then just for a moment, you guys, seated meditation. So whatever position you want to take with your legs, it could be cross-legged, easy pose, screaming toe, hero's pose, but just sit. Close your eyes and breathe and notice. Notice how your right side feels versus your left side. Notice your breath. Bring it back if you've lost it. Slow it down if it's sped up, or make it deeper if it's become shallow. Take one more. And then everybody meet on your hands and your knees. So however you want to make that transition to your hands and your knees. Once you're on your hands and your knees, little bit of intuitive movement. So movement through hips, cat cows, child's pose, heart openers. Maybe you want to stretch your wrist, turn your fingers back towards your knees and just kind of rock gently. Stretch your forearms. Okay, and then from here, we're gonna move into that funky pigeon on our left side. So left knee to the back of your left wrist, and then just kind of let your hips sit over to the left. Just plop them down, not plop, not big plop, gentle plop. And then scoot your hips around so that your left shin is parallel to the front edge of your mat. So whatever you got to do to get your left shin parallel to the front edge of your mat, right shin can be parallel to the long edge, or maybe your right leg's extended back. You can have your knee really bent. So whatever feels good to you, but try to get your knee at least coming straight out from your hip, not up, straight out. Okay, sit up as tall as you can, and then see if you can twist just ever so slightly to the right. So think heart or sternum towards your left foot. Big inhale, lengthen, and as you exhale, reach your butt back and your heart forward. It might just be a little tilt forward. You might be able to come to rest, your forearms down, relax your head down. So this can look so many different ways. If you want to move your upper body over towards your knee a little bit, that feels better, that's okay. Flex your left toes. Breathe, big intentional breaths. Soft face. And if it feels like a lot, if it feels intense, that's normal. Let it feel like a lot. And I shouldn't even use the word normal, but that's completely okay. I'm trying to stop saying normal because there is really no such thing as normal. All right, take one more round. Open mouth sigh if you want. And then lift back up. We got that fun part. So left hand over to your side, but try not to put too much weight there. This is where we're going to move our back leg. So let your back leg hover as you swing it forward and then swing it back. So as little movement in your upper body as possible. So the movement is coming mostly from your hip joint. Keep your foot active, flexed. That'll help take a little bit of weight. So it'll feel a little less heavy if you activate your toes. Do that about 2 more times, forward and back. It's okay if there's some heat building there. That's a good thing. Next time your right leg comes out in front of you, keep it there. Take your left leg out in front of you as well. Give your legs a little shake out. And then after a few shakes, windshield wiper side to side. Make sure your feet are wider than your hips. All right, back to center. Extend your left leg out long. Draw your right knee in and sit up as tall as you can. So right now I'm kind of rolling back onto my tailbone. I'm going to adjust so I feel like I'm on my sit bones. I'm on the front of my sit bones. If it's helpful, sit up on a block or excuse me, a blanket or a pillow. So right knee in, left toes flex, sit up tall. You might keep your right foot here, perfectly fine. Otherwise, right foot to the outside of your left thigh, sit up tall. Right arm to the sky, inhale. And then as you exhale, twist over your right shoulder and bring your right hand down behind you. Try not to lean back too much. So I'm up on my right fingertips. Gaze over your right shoulder and breathe down into your belly, big and spacious. Big belly breaths. Couple more. It's hard to breathe this big. That's okay. Should feel a little challenging. Your body's not used to breathing this big all the time. End of your next exhale, unwind slowly. And just bring the sole of your right foot to your left inner thigh. It doesn't have to be placed exactly. And then twist over your right shoulder, right hand to the ground behind you, fingers face away. Press into your right hand, lift your hips, reach your left arm, lengthen your left side. Maybe open your heart like a modified wild thing. Big, huge, full body breath. One more. Very nice. Come down. Take both legs out in front of you. Give them a little shake out. And then find one more seated meditation. So again, any leg variation you want to take, just sitting, noticing, breathing with awareness. Eyes closed. Feel your breath. So how interesting could you make this if you were here for an entire hour with your eyes closed, sitting, breathing, observing? Could you make that entertaining enough? Not interacting with your environment, but just becoming the witness. So I like to imagine sometimes that my job, I've been put in that's meditation. Not going anywhere else, but being right here with yourself, with your breath, with the sounds, smells, sensations, energies. Take one last round. And then go ahead and come down onto your back. However you want to transition all the way down. Once you're on your back, hug your knees in, gently rock from side to side. And we will set up for bridge pose. So feet on the ground with your knees bent. Feet are now hips width distance apart, not mat width distance. All of your toes face forward, arms down by your sides. So we're going to start. This is going to be a very, very subtle movement. We're going to start by just moving our pelvis. So listen carefully. As you exhale, pull your belly button down and scoop your tailbone up. As you inhale, press your tailbone down and lift your low back up. Belly button lifts towards the sky as well. Exhale, belly button down. Scoop your tailbone. This is called a posterior pelvic tilt. And then inhale, switch it up, anterior pelvic tilt. A couple more times back and forth through those two pelvic tilts. And I just want you to feel the difference between these two, even if that means making them really extreme, really exaggerating them. And then if you could imagine a happy medium, that's your neutral spine. Essentially, it would be awesome if we could all walk around in neutral spine all the time. Most of us tilt our pelvis a little more one way or the other. So just start to bring awareness to that. Next time you scoop your tailbone up, use your inhale to lift your spine up, come into your bridge pose. And you can take any variation of bridge for about 5 breaths. So if you want to interlace your fingers, if you want to take robot arms, if you want to take a block in between your inner thighs or underneath your sacrum for a supported bridge, if you want to go up into your full back bend, your upward facing bow, if that's in your practice, go for it. Hug in with your inner thighs, everybody, and try to stay rooted through your heels and the inner edges of your feet, especially. If you want, you can even pick up your toes and spread them. Keep pressing through the back of your head. Keep lifting your chin up just slightly. So try to keep a neutral neck. Stay with your breath. Stay present wherever you've chosen to be. Last couple of rounds. See if you can come out of it really, really slowly and intentionally on an exhale. So just on your own, exhale to roll your spine down. Once you are in a neutral spine position, tee out your arms or cactus your arms. Bring your feet out wider, mat width distance apart now, and then windshield wiper side to side. Back and forth with your breath, slowly and intentionally. So in yoga, everything's slow and intentional. Well, I shouldn't say everything's slow, but everything is intentional. We're not just moving mindlessly through these random positions. We're moving intentionally, feeling, noticing, breathing, exploring. After a few rounds of windshield wiper, happy baby pose. So you did a half happy baby earlier, now you got a full one. See if you can find a neutral spine in your happy baby rather than rounding. I thought it was impossible once, and I feel like I finally figured it out. I finally got it. It took me years. So just start getting curious about those things. Pull down with your arms, press up through your heels. You can rock it out if you want. You can extend one leg if you want, then the other. And then if there are any other little stretches or movements, any last poses you want to take to complete your practice, then please go ahead and do so. Maybe another full body stretch, maybe hugging your knees in. And then start your transition into your final relaxation. Start your transition into your Shavasana. So as you slowly find your way, intentionally find your way into your Shavasana. I'll read you just a little poem by Jeff Foster. It's been a while since I've read Jeff Foster, and he was my favorite. I guess maybe I'm branching out. This is called There is Beauty in Doubt. It says, there is beauty in doubt. It keeps the mind curious, open, fresh, away from the harshness of conclusions. There's sacredness in sadness. It keeps the heart soft, mellow, fertilized, ready for the emergence of joy. Even your anger is precious. It brims with life, dignity, passion, the longing to be heard, to fight for those without a voice. Do not push away any feeling. Make room for them. Let them move. Be their home, their sanctuary. So for these last few moments, just let your body rest. And let whatever is there to be felt, even if it's thought of as negative, doubt, sadness, anger. Notice what's there and what it's telling you. What wants to be felt to move through you. So I'm going to leave you here. And if you have more time, I would love for you to be able to stay like 20 minutes, maybe you fall asleep. Wouldn't that be awesome? If you don't, I think it's about 5 minutes to the hour now. So take 5 minutes and just rest, and you can close your practice in a way that resonates for you. If that means just getting up and going about your day, that's fine too. So see you next Thursday. Thank you guys for joining. I love when I have men that want to do yoga. So good job. You're awesome. Namaste.